Why is numerology important? Why is it that everyone kind of feels that their birth date is special? Why is it that people intuitively know when they wake up and the clock says 111 that that means something? Why does it happen night after night after night? Like, what is that? Inside each of us is an intuitive knowingness that if God was to speak to us, honestly, it wouldn't put information in stone tablets. Um, the cosmos rules through math and mathematics and numbers. So our DNA is a sequence of letters. Okay, so letters and numbers are connected. So if God was to speak to us, it would give us these signs as numbers. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a license plate that, says something specific that means something to me. I have people all the time that come in and go, I don't know what is happening, but I keep seeing the number whatever. And it's almost always a triple. It's almost like 222, 333, 444. And that is meaning something. I do believe that the angels and the guides are speaking to us and giving us messages and metaphors all over the place to get our attention, to see if we're going to pay attention enough so that they can help us. And numbers become a significant piece. Like, our birthday is special to us. There's all these books out there, the birth date book, that's very popular. It's very cool, actually. I love it. It's awesome. There's a lot of ways to look at this, and there's a lot of systems of numerology. Please know that I know there's so many systems of numerology out there, and people are like, oh, well, I don't want you to do my numerology because I've already done my numerology, and I did one of those things online, and I know what it is. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but there are like 5 systems of numerology. The American system is a very specific type of system. There's the Pythagorean system, which is about 0 through 9. There is the Asian Chinese system, which is based on 13 and the 13 moons. There's the Kabbalic system, which is a whole science unto itself. It's as complex as astrology. Astrology is a number system. And there's the Vedic system, which is more of what I do, which is about the numbers between 0 and 11. All of these work. I'm not going to say that one is better than another, because they're not. I say to people, feel into the one that makes sense for your body, your energy, your frequency. And I think that's the same with religions and everything. I think we resonate at a certain frequency, and religions resonate at a certain frequency, and numbers resonate at a certain frequency. And people come in and say, my lucky number is 7. I know my lucky number is 7. I love the number 7. And so then we dive into what that is meaning, what that says to them, what that's teaching them, what that is guiding them towards, because they're not wrong. They're vibrating at a certain frequency. So, I mean, as Einstein says, that we're just like a bag of vibrating frequencies. We're a body of vibrating frequencies. And so this table is vibrating more slowly than I'm vibrating, but a flower or a bumblebee is probably vibrating faster than I am, because it's actually in the ultraviolet light spectrum, and I'm not. Okay, so we're all vibrating at a different frequency and resonance, and we're attuned to or attracted to certain numbers and frequencies. And I think that's why we get certain birth dates, that we come in having a certain birth date. I remember that my grandmother was very upset that I wasn't born on August 15th, because that was the Saint Mary Magdalene's Day in the Catholic Church, being raised by Irish Catholics on both sides. And I was born on the 16th, and my joke was, yeah, I'm definitely no Mary Magdalene, so I'm definitely, my own little frequency. But she was very upset that I wasn't born on that day, because that meant something to her that was special to her. So each of us is attracted to, and we have brought in, based on our birth date, frequencies. And your name, which are letters, translates into numbers also. I'm sure you've noticed that especially in the old days, you could call and get a telephone number and they would give you 3 options. And it was funny for me because I would be like frantically doing the numerology on the 3 different numbers to pick the best one that would work for me. I think that's always really interesting. The house numbers that you end up buying mean something to you. And I mean, I'll never forget being in a 9 house, and like a 9 is about completion. And oh my gosh, all I did was complete. Like there was always something that had to be completed, whether it was parts of the house, whether it was karma with my relationship. It was just it was like a personal growth workshop being in a 9 house. But I don't have, that frequency as well attuned as some people might. So, it's interesting to notice what you're drawn into. And I think it's because the universe said, you know what, you need to learn the 9. You need to learn this 9 frequency. So we're going to pop you in a 9 house and you're going to do 99999 until you're sick of doing 9, or you're no longer triggered by the 9. Even more important, we get put in situations with people that are not like us in order for us to stretch, for us to see the world through someone else's eyes or see it very differently than them. So numerology is the art and science of learning the patterns that are inherent within numbers. And intuitively, we know what they are. Intuitively, we know 1 is me, I. Intuitively, we know 2 is masculine, feminine, good, bad, right, wrong. Okay, we just everybody knows that. Like any culture kind of knows that. The number 3 is a trinity, a triad, which is positive: the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, the Mother, the Father, the Child, the Virgin, the Mother, the Crone. So the 3 is a trinity, which is usually very positive, but it's the integration of 3 different aspects. So as a result, this is this process of learning the science and the art of numerology. And so I'm putting these videos up. I have like my entire numerology class out there that you can find. It's free on YouTube. And I also have other videos up that are on numerology and things that would be of interest to you. But I felt compelled to do these videos right now because I feel that what's lacking in the world is understanding of differences and learning your pattern, positive and negative, and learning other people's patterns so that you understand them better, and to recognize that they aren't designed to be you. They didn't come in to learn your lessons. They do not have your reference points. They have not been who you have been in other lifetimes. So they do not see it your way. They do not see it your way. And that's all right. That is okay. It's completely perfect. But there's this whole thing that we all need to agree, and I'm like, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The only way we can do this is to understand each other. But also that means to understand our own weaknesses and where we might get caught in illusions and delusions and be bewildered and be hysterical, and learn self-discipline in our weak areas and recognize that, we don't see certain things. We're blind to certain things, and we need to start paying attention to what we're blind to. I think that's the only way to get us through this particular pattern. And when you play with these numbers enough and listen to these videos enough, and I have people that say, oh my God, I watched your numerology class like 10 times, right? I think what happens is that you start to recognize people and go, oh my God, they are so annoying. They are just so annoying. And you do, and you'll just, say, oh, and what is your birthday? And then boom, there it is, and you're like, right. You'll actually be able to detect the numerological archetypes as they're being expressed in a person's energy field and behavior. And, again, if you're dealing with a person whose number patterns are highly emotional, you probably should use emotional words like I feel, okay? If you're dealing with a person who's a brainiac and highly intellectual and they're running around up here with no grounding in their numbers at all, you might want to use words that are very visual. So it's like, oh, I see what you're saying. That makes sense to me, right? So it's here. Learning how to communicate with people in a way that helps open the space is very important, because right now everybody's having conversations that are closing spaces. They're closing spaces, they're not opening spaces. And we've got to find that middle ground. I mean, we've got to find a way to do this differently. And I'm not saying the numerology will be perfect, but let's try a lot of different maps. Let's try a little different model, a lot of different models. You can tell that I'm a 777 because I like maps and structures and models, and like, let's create a plan and let's see what works and what doesn't work, and what doesn't work we'll throw out, and what works we'll keep. So this is my approach to try and save the world. And you will all have your own approaches based on your numerology patterns. And so I think it's important to know who you are, because then you're not trying to be somebody that you're not. And I see so many times people go, oh, that person is so cool, I want to be like them. But you can't be them. You can only be you. I mean, in the long run, you can only be you. And you can be the very best conscious you can possibly be. And that's what I want from everybody, because then when you feel comfortable in who you are, you will give permission for other people to actually be who they are. And honor and respect that, because what's missing is honor and respect right now. So this is my little attempt. I hope you enjoy these videos. Thanks for listening.